I have the pleasure of welcoming here on IPEM 2017's Web TV Florian Burnat, your Senior Tax Associate at CMS Bureau Francis Lefebvre. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
To begin, lawyers, a law office. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to a representative here of a law office at IPEM. Tell me about CMS Bureau Francis Lefebvre. In France, Bureau Francis Lefebvre is a very well-known brand. CMS Bureau Francis Lefebvre, what's the story behind that?
Well, as you mentioned, Bureau Francis Lefebvre is a firm that's been in operation since 1925, so pretty historic, pretty well established, exactly, with 380 lawyers located in France. And CMS is the network we belong to. It's a fully integrated network of firms located in Europe. We have about 60 different offices in Europe, plus we also have offices in Asia and South America. So a very big network, more than 900 partners in total, and about 6,000 lawyers in total.
Is this a fully integrated operation, or are the different locations?
I mean, the entities keep their independence, but they're all form of the same network, and we have a common marketing, common sector group meetings, for instance. So there is really the focus on providing a streamlined process to the clients.
Okay, well, typically your clients, what kind of clients are you serving mostly? Private equity players, I guess?
Private equity players, funds, of course, private equity funds, infrastructure funds as well, corporates, family offices, also family groups. So groups which are worth more than a few hundred million euros, but are fully family owned, and they still need assistance either for their private client issues, structuring the estate, the assets of the family, and as well structuring their group. So it's a very large array of possibilities.
But
possible clients.
Entrepreneurs are at the core of your
yes.
of your clientele. And private equity, this is a people business, an entrepreneur business. You mentioned mostly a continental European presence.
That's right.
South American, Asian. Could you elaborate on these presences?
Yes.
What drives this expansion or this network?
Well, it's mostly to make sure that we really fit with who we integrate within our network. For instance, in January 2017, we integrated 3 firms in South America, in Peru, Colombia, and Chile, because they're the same kind of thinking in the management of these firms with the CMS network. So we're not going to expand just to expand, but to find people we're going to work with on the long haul. So, and that's the same rationale that we had in expanding into Asia, setting up offices in Istanbul, in Tehran, in mainland China. So it's not just expanding without any rationale. It's really thought through.
We're here at IPEM, the International Private Equity Markets 2017 event. What kind of private equity players do you work with, and what kind of service do you provide for these players? Is it specifically on certain sectors? Is it certain sizes of deals?
In terms of size, we're mostly on the mid-cap band in terms of types of deals we work on. We work both for funds, structuring the acquisition, obviously on the tax aspects. Historically, CMS Bureau Francis Lefebvre is a tax firm, and out of the 380 lawyers I mentioned earlier, in France, half of them are tax lawyers. And strangely, I have to mention that people think that we only do tax. That's not the case anymore. The other half is corporate, employment law, financing, capital markets. So we have really a group of people who can structure a private equity transaction from A to Z. Absolutely no issue at all. And so we work for funds for structuring their investments. We work with managers as well. Structuring the management package. That's a very important issue as well. And there's not so much of a sector bias in the type of clientele we work for. The funds that retain us usually don't have that much of a sector preferred sector.
Well, what's interesting is that you have this across the board presence. What's your view, from your point of view? What's your point of view on the private equity industry? Do you see what are the trends that you see having take place in the past year or so, or trends that you see will carry this industry in the years to come?
Well, what I've seen more and more is transactions not taking place in just one country, but cross-border deals and also cross-border build-ups. For instance, a French company majoritarily owned by a French private equity fund is going to decide to do a build-up transaction in Spain, Italy, Germany, and that's occurring more and more often, whereas in the past, usually the firm, before any private equity transaction, before being under an LBO, would do its own internal growth. Now it's more and more build-ups. That's perhaps the new trend we've been noticing.
You mentioned that you had an office in Tehran. Is that what led you to, is that the recent lifting of the sanctions in Iran, for instance? Is that preparing for a larger deal flow with Iran and activity?
Exactly. I mean, and what drove it as well is we have actually an Iranian partner who worked in an office in Germany. So she speaks perfect Farsi, obviously, and she has a great network in Iran. So when the sanctions were lifted, the first idea that she and members of the executive committee at CMS had was to open an office there because of the possibilities that it will create for or existing clients and for prospective clients.
So you're answering your clients' needs or their future needs, getting prepared to answer their future needs. All right, well, thank you very much, Florian Burnat. You're a Senior Associate Tax at CMS, Bureau Francis Lefebvre. Thank you very much.
Thank you.